Kate and Anne, thank you very much for being here. Wonderful to have two founders of Sage Haven to help keep kids safe. And I want you to share and talk about that. And you're also sisters. So
right.
What was your inspiration to creating Sage Haven? And can you please share a little bit more about what it's all about?
Well, first, thank you for having us on the podcast. We're very excited to be here.
You.
And as you
Wonderful.
mentioned, we are sisters and we are best friends, and we are also founders of Sage Haven, which is a company that we created to keep kids safe online. And we can talk about it a little bit more, but essentially it's safe messaging, starting with safe messaging and voice calling for kids in those early years. And we're both mothers as well. And so that's kind of the idea behind it, is that we wanted to create a tool that we wanted for our own kids because we didn't like what we were seeing out there with the current tech. And we also have a very personal story, which is we have a close young family member who has gone through a horrible mental health crisis due to online bullying and, online toxic content. And so we felt almost called to this mission to create something, not just for our own kids, but when you see something happen in your own family. And then we started to talk with people in our community and friends, and we realized how common that was. That was the real turning point for us to say we need to do something.
Yes. So out of adversity, you've created this safety net for other parents and for other kids. That's wonderful. Can you share a little bit more about it, please? And how it works and how easy it is to access?
Sure. Yeah, we'd love to. Thank you. And we're excited to be here because I think the work that you do and the work that we do are so coordinated. Like how do we teach kids healthy habits? How do we let them have more independence in the real world? How do we ensure they have these genuine in real world connections so that they can live these happy, healthy lives? I mean, it goes together.
Yes.
But maybe just like a little bit, Anna and I knew we wanted to work together. We've been saying this for years. She was doing her thing and I was starting other companies, but we said, next time, let's do something together. So when this happened to our family member, we said, I don't know what it's going to be, but man, it just feels like kids, tech, and mental health is off the rails right now. And this really did come from a place of like deep, deep pain and realizing how many families went through what we went through sort of called us into action. And we're just like, we can't live. We're not accepting a place where 20 to 30% of girls are self-harming. We're not going to accept a world where kids are addicted and on social media more than 5 hours every single day and on screen 7 to 8 hours a day. Like, of course that's not healthy.
Yes.
And just watching the loss, I think for Anne and I, like what resonates so much is just like the loss of social skills and the ability to connect. And I think that's like almost what your game like really resonated with us. But it's like, we need to have this new cohort of kids that has a really different relationship with tech and a really different relationship with each other. And we think it's possible.
Yes.
And so we spent over a year just going, hey, we know we want to work together. We know we're passionate about this big thing, but we don't know what it's going to be yet. So we spent a year interviewing parents, kids, experts. It was so fun. It was so rewarding. It allowed us to really like not just take our own experience and make a product, but like really get our finger on the pulse of what's happening all over the world. And it's so similar. I mean, I think the thing that like just shocked us was like we heard the same thing over and over and over from every corner of the world. About what adolescence is like and how this is really the number one parenting pain point of our generation. Anne and I are both millennial moms. I'm 43. She's 41, almost 41.
Don't do that to me. I'm 40, gonna be 41.
Sorry. Excuse me. But, we have kids in elementary school and a lot of our friends have kids in, middle school. So that's sort of what we're seeing and what we're hearing. And everyone's we're not having to do much education on the pain. The pain everybody knows, right?
Yeah. And there's a helplessness too, isn't there, to know what to do?
And of course it's, I kind of like sigh. It's like another burden on moms primarily who have to now figure out how much access to give and when, and the balance of I want to have a close connection with my kid and give them more independence in the real world. And sometimes there's real logistics around that. Like I want to be able to, geo-track my kids so they can go to the park that's far away from
Yes.
my home or walk home from school. Or I want to be able to message them because I'm busy and I'm going, hey, dad's going to pick you up from practice 5 minutes late. Just sit tight.
Yeah.
Just the family logistics is often where it starts, messaging wise.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I think we have real empathy too after all of these interviews with parents who use tech and it's part of the culture because they don't have enough childcare, because their kid has a learning difference and there's some real things there, because they're divorced and they need to
Mhm.
talk to their kid while they're at their
Yeah.
dad's house. I mean, it's just there's so many real reasons why tech abstinence or like, some parts of the world will be able to execute tech abstinence. And honestly, we say congratulations, great job. Like if you can pull that off and you have that kind of support system and
Yes. But
wonderful. Delay as long
yeah.
as possible. We're fully aligned with delay as long as possible. And for most modern families, technology
Yes.
plays a key role. But
Yeah.
yet the products that exist today are built for adults. They're
The kids'
incredibly
safety is an
addictive.
afterthought.
Completely.
It's not their
Right.
priority, and that's so obvious.
Yeah, and it's being a parent is so complex, and it's even more complex now than it ever was when I was raising my
Mhm.
my girls. And parents are pulled in, so I don't have to tell you this. You're pulled in so many directions.
Yeah.
We all want to keep our kids safe, but
Mhm.
sometimes, yeah, you're right, and it sort of can slip through the cracks.
Well, and like sometimes, in the case of our family member, some of the bullying happened because they didn't have a phone. They weren't on the social media platform where the conversation had shifted. So like
Boy,
you just have a lot of like empathy. It's like you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Mhm.
And it's
right.
not an easy thing. And
Yeah.
anyway, so these interviews
Yes.
really informed Ann and I, like, what is this going to be? And what bubbled to the top surprised us, quite frankly. But messaging, group chat,
Share.
which
Yes. Yes.
started even before they had phones and social media. It's happening on tablets and watches in elementary school.
The average class chat starts in 4th and 5th grade. So if you are not a part of the class chat, you miss out on certain information or you feel disconnected from what's going on. And it's not just the social platforms like Kate said. Like if you're not on social media, I know a lot of parents nowadays that we know how harmful it is will say
Mm-hmm.
no social media. But you're not thinking about how to connect them with their friends in a real way, which is messaging, but you just don't feel like it can be done safely. So that's kind of
Mhm.
where we wanted to step in as that, like Kate mentioned, the new cohort of kids. The when you're first getting into that decision as a parent, we wanted to offer a tool.
Huh, that's fantastic. I want you to share. My granddaughter was bullied on the school board platform. So they were doing their homework on that
Hmm.
and that wasn't being monitored correctly. So I
What age
think
was
we're
that?
uh 8,
Yeah.
8 years
I
old.
know. The thing that just like breaks my heart is like how early it starts. I think
Yes.
a lot of parents
Yeah.
almost don't know it until they're in it, but whether it's on a, Google Doc, whether it's but online, behind screens, people just do things they wouldn't do face to face. So like I have a mental
Exactly.
model, like, I don't know, Mean Girls in middle school, not a new concept. But it's about in our minds like a 10x problem now with screens
Hmm.
because it's
Yes.
persistent. The severity of it is really different behind a screen. The things people say and like
Vicious.
vicious. And then the network of it all, the let me post this and everybody sees it, sort of
Mhm.
social network effects of it can be brutal. So
Mhm.
I think to just get into it a little bit about what we built,
Yes,
we
please.
have built a safer messaging and voice calling app for kids. Kind of like 8 to 12 is our sweet spot
Mhm.
right now. And we have all sorts of ideas of how we can expand it and do different things. But right now, if your kid is ready to start communicating and you're nervous about that, we're perfect for you. So like we talk about being like the kid's first number. But how it works is moms will go to the app store, they'll download Sage Haven, they'll set
Yes.
up their family, and then they'll put it on their kid's device. So oftentimes, again, it's a watch, it's a tablet, but they'll download it on their kid's device. And now these devices are linked. So we are the only messaging app where you can see the kids' messages from your own phone. And it's hard to believe that that doesn't exist when 75% of the parents we interviewed grab iPads and manually scroll backwards to spot check them. And like they're doing this work. The social contract to supervise is there. It's just really clunky.
Right. And
The
time
other thing-
consuming.
And really time consuming. And so we also make that way easier with alerts and recaps and these things that's like, you don't need to read all these messages.
Great.
You can just get the insights. And the insights are not just policing. The insights are, look at this moment where your kid was so kind. And I think like to your game, your kids are, they're really excited about the sleepover this weekend. Share your own experiences about this, like bonding prompts. So like we think this insights about your kid at every age can be so connecting and so powerful.
Yes.
So one of it is supervision. The other is AI moderation. So we block harmful messages before they're even sent. And that's really powerful because a lot of these, things that are said or links that are sent or images that are sent are sort of bells that can't be unrung. So even if you got an alert, sometimes the damage is done. So we're actually going to prevent that bell from ringing, if you will, by blocking that message in the first place. So whether that is someone sending your kid something inappropriate or incredibly cruel, we'll block it and alert the parent immediately and give them some nuanced options about how to handle that. If your kid is doing that work, they're sending something inappropriate, we won't let it go out. And then in addition to that, we're teaching kids how to message well. We call them nudges towards kindness and best practices. So this is everything from, hey, this might hurt their feelings. What if you say this instead? To just like teaching them how to use tech. Hey, you're talking one-on-one in front of a big group. Click here to move this to a private conversation. So the education is completely lacking today. And we feel like parents need an ally to sort of teach kids what good looks like. And then one thing that like just from this is like more technical, but it's really hard to get everybody to use a new app. And I think that this idea of like safer messaging, it's not that new. Like if you go to the App Store, you'll see other things, but they all require everybody to go onto a new platform. And that's not realistic. So we have designed Sage Haven to be interoperable with iMessage and Google Message. So we issue every kid a new number. And then when you share that number with friends and family and whatever else, then all of those calls and messages pull to Sage Haven. So your kid uses Sage Haven, but not everybody else needs to be on Sage Haven. So maybe there's a 5th grade or 6th grade iMessage group chat. That's fine. It can still be on iMessage for everyone else, but your kid will be on Sage Haven. And then you get all those benefits no matter what other families use. And we think just practically that's makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Well, it does. So then Sage Haven blocks from any other platform will sort of read and block any harmful messages.
That's right.
So it doesn't have to be that's brilliant.
Well,
Thank you.
We talk a lot about it from the parent perspective because that is us. That's who will be aware of Sage Haven to download it for their family. But we also have kids. I have a 9-year-old boy. So does Kate with a girl. I have 3 children. Kate has 2. We designed this to be fun for kids too. So the whole idea of parent supervision can sometimes be frowned upon, right? Like the privacy of the kids gets pulled into a conversation, and also just will the kids want to use Sage Haven? And what we always say is, one, we're talking about the very beginning of tech, right? When supervision, in our opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, they should be supervised in those early years. Supervision should roll off as they get older. In our mind, it's not appropriate for you to be supervising every message that goes out for your 14, 15-year-old in most cases. So, we really want people to understand, we thought about this from the kid perspective too. And it's fun. There are filters, there are different videos that they can use. And so they enjoy it just as much as the parent getting the benefits. So I think that's a good call out.
That's great.
Yeah, the interviews with kids were so fun, but they don't hold back. They were
for sure.
They were slightly unhinged.
Yeah, I loved it. But they call it boomer bubbles, like how the messages go back and forth. They don't like that, the way that looks. They don't like when, older people, we do emoji response with a heart or a thumbs up or something like that. They want to do it where it feels more like Snapchat, where their avatar is the one doing the thing. So they call
I
millennial
see.
emojis. We took all this feedback from kids
Oh,
and
isn't that great?
developed an interface for them that they like sort of more than the alternatives.
Oh, that's fantastic. When you were talking to, so that's your experience with kids, and that's great that you took in their thoughts and actually put them into actionable things on your app. What about parents? Like when you talk to parents and you said you were surprised or you were what? Can you share a little bit more about that and your experience?
Yeah, I think one we'll start with, I think parents just want an easy button sometimes. Okay, kind of mentioned there's a lot
Yeah.
on the parents' back, a lot on the moms, especially with the guilt they feel and should they or
Yes.
shouldn't they give access and all the things. But at the end of the day, like if you talk to most parents, they want parental controls, they want help, they want resources. But
Hmm.
we're making it very difficult for parents, even in the simplicity of just parental controls on an iPad. To set those up, it's extremely difficult. So parents just want something that they can trust and it's
Yes.
easy. And so
Mhm.
even before Sage Haven, we co-authored a kids in tech guidebook with a lot of how-to videos for parental controls, just to how to set up Apple Family and do it in a safe way and block social media access from the devices. And so we also have Sage Parents Guidebook, which you can find on Instagram or our
Great.
website, sageparents.org, which we can link. But we really
Okay.
just, again, wanted to be a resource. So we started off with parents just needing resources and needing something trusted and just wanting an easy button. And so we started off with the resources. And then we started to understand truly how many families were affected with harmful content and bullying happening. And the
Yes.
statistics were shocking to us. I think that was my biggest takeaway is, it's not just our family. And now
Hmm.
you're hearing so much in the news, but all we were seeing from a resource standpoint was blaming the parent almost.
Mhm.
You're doing it wrong. You're on your phone too much. So that's why your kids are wanting the phones. And I just think there wasn't any grace for parents. And so I think that's where we wanted to step in and just say, hey, we're parents too. We're dealing with the same thing. Kate comes from a much more tech background than I do. So I kind of feel like I'm on the side of when we're putting even like a new, you know, feature in the app. I'm like, parents, we need to simplify this. Make it more simple for parents to
Yes.
understand. So that was my
Yeah.
takeaway.
Mhm.
That's great. And what about you, Kate? When you walked away from all these parent interviews, what was your number one? Because I think it's lonely as a parent.
It is.
People feel isolated.
Yeah, I just honestly felt energized too because I think parents are fed up. Like we've reached the end of the rope a bit in terms of
Mhm.
like, oh, I guess this just is how it is. And like
Mhm.
just the amount of parents going, nope, we're doing it differently. Like they're more tech conscious than ever. They're looking for alternatives. They're delaying social media and phones, talking to their friends about this in a different way. So I think for me, I just felt like, man, there is a groundswell of parents that have had enough.
Yes.
And
Okay.
we're two of many, many, many parents all over the
Yes.
world that are sort of like, listen, big tech, you have kind of done us dirty here. You have built really addictive products for adults that you're letting kids access,
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
led to pretty poor outcomes on mental
Mhm.
health. I mean, devastating at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're sick of it. So I felt energized. I'm like, there is an opportunity to create a tech company that parents actually trust. And like, what would that look like? What business model would it need to have? And so we've set this up as a public benefit corp where by legally, we have to
Yes.
consider the mental health of kids in every decision that we make. Like that's in our bylaws. That's how we've structured it. Like we're so sincere about that. And
Yes.
we're not profit at all costs. We are providing
Yes.
all sorts of resources and tools for free. It's like, that's gotta be part of it if we're gonna change. and get a lot of people to use this and try something new and go up against Apple and Google and Meta and TikTok and Snapchat
Yeah.
and so we hope this is just the beginning, but every time I get scared that we're going up against the big guys, I just talk to a mom and it like gives me all the fuel I need because I'm like, they get it. They know that this is happening. They're ready for something new.
Sure. And it's so wonderful that it is a calling for you both and that you do get it because you are in the trenches of motherhood and nobody said it would be easy, but it's way more difficult now. So it is so refreshing to know that you knew that there was a problem and you jumped in to try to make a difference in this special way. And so I want to make sure that parents can access all those resources too in the show notes and as well the Sage Haven. Is the Sage Haven is globally anybody can access it?
Right
It's
now
just
it's
from going to
US.
the
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, we're very new. So we launched the app in September to
Yes.
just the earliest people on the wait list. And we do have a wait
Yes.
list of over 16,000 parents. So it is
Yeah.
resonating.
Great.
Um, and we're about to start really releasing people off that wait list. We were adding voice calling and an Apple Watch for the kids and some things that the early users told us they need to really make
Yeah.
this work for their family. So we've been like racing and getting all
Fantastic.
those features ready, and we're right there. So this is perfect timing for us. By the time this airs, people will go to the App Store. They can download Sage Haven. It is right now only US and only Apple, so iOS, but we are launching
Okay.
Android this summer.
Yes.
And then this is something that's not just a US issue. I mean, of
For
course.
sure.
Of
Yeah.
course. There are some things because we issue these numbers and we work with telecommunication companies, we have to get these deals set up in every country to do
Mhm.
to do this interoperable
Yes.
feature, which we think is really important. So we're working on that, but we certainly are seeing you, Australia, for banning social media and needing different solutions. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
European countries that have gone this way too. So
Yes.
we're going to be moving as fast as we can. We're very lucky to have a few engineers that I worked with at my last company, and we were very global and we know how to do this. So we're going to be moving quickly here to try to reach families when they need it, which is right now.
Absolutely. That is I'm so glad that we met today because it gives me hope too. There is a solution and a safe solution out
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
And it will give parents peace.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, we didn't mention this before, but a lot of it is how you design it. And if you design an app to have endless short form videos, or a messaging app that notifies you every time there's a new emoji response, or a platform that rewards you for logging in every single day. I mean, there's all these ways that the tech companies have made these tools addictive.
Detective.
And I
Yeah.
think we really understand those things and we really
Yes.
rethought, like, what would it look like to have moderate, healthy usage of tech?
Yes.
What would that experience look like? How many notifications make sense? What does it look and feel like when you log in? So I think just being really, really thoughtful about what the experience is like for kids, that is actually at the core what's going to change that relationship. That's like how we will be different when it's all said and done.
Yes. And I like the fact that you're focusing on the 8 to 12-year-old age because really what you're doing then is providing that foundation for when they become teenagers. So
Mhm.
they will have learned healthy habits at that young age, and that will serve them well as adults.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Well,
so
and I
that's
mean, honestly, it was a little disheartening, but we interviewed so many teens and a lot of them just have such bad habits that we felt like it was going to be really challenging to change. So we
mhm,
feel like it's easier to kind of grow with the new cohort that doesn't learn those bad habits in the first place and has a different relationship.
mhm.
But, we also see some signs of hope even in the teen years where they're starting to unplug. They go, "This doesn't make
Yes.
me feel good. What
Mhm.
am I doing?" Like there
Mhm.
is a
Yeah,
consciousness brewing that we
I
think people might even change behavior willingly, even if they are already on screens kind of all the time.
I
And so we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise me and maybe, our product once we get it ready for the teen years, people will be opting in. But I think the smarter strategy is kind of make a product that really makes sense at the tween level and then grow with
yes,
them.
and grow. Get them while they're young. So knowing what you know now,
Mhm.
both of you and Kate, what would you do the same? And this can be from a parent's perspective, from a founder's perspective. What would you do the same and what would you do differently? Please.
I'd start a company with my sister because we're having a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, it's like people get nervous about starting businesses with close friends or family members, but like to work in and out on something you care about this much with someone you love this much, it's awesome. It's really been joyful. So this is my fourth company, and this is by far the most joy and fun that I'm having doing it. Partially because the
That's
mission, I care
great.
so much about it, but also just partially because I get to do it with Anne and we get to goof around all day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you would do the same. What about you?
I do the same.
Yeah, we'll start with the same. I would like to also say the same thing, although I'll
Let's say
switch
you better
more
not
to a
say the
parenting
opposite.
thing. No, I
What
just
you do different does not work with me.
I just I'll repeat and then I'll say my own, which is it really is exciting to be a part of something from the beginning. This is my first company, so Kate has done this before. You know, to be an entrepreneur, at first I had a lot of self-doubt. Can I do this? Am I qualified? All of the things go through your head. And then you're with somebody who believes in you. We have a great team. I just not only is it fun, but I feel passion for the first time in a long time that we are and can actually make a difference. And, I've run large sales organizations before and been a part of kind of a corporate situation. And that was great. And I think I got great training from it. But to be able to put it into play for something that we truly believe in and be able to make decisions based on the mental health of kids and not have to do something just because somebody else, a higher up than you, says something is really
Mhm.
empowering. So, I guess, I'll jump to what I would have done differently is I would have liked to have done this before. I did the corporate thing for over 16 years before I jumped over to entrepreneurship. And I wish that I had believed in myself before this and done something. And I think the timing is always important. And I think the timing is really right for what we're doing.
Yes.
I just I really think that no matter what you're thinking out there, I know there's a lot of people who want to start something, in even different industries. Believe in yourself and go after it. And no matter what comes of this, I will never regret it.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks. And you, Kate, what would you do differently?
Sometimes my heart breaks when I meet families that their kids are too old and they already have all these issues and we kind of didn't get here fast enough. It's like, well, when we see the severe bullying or we see what happens or we see a kid who's addicted and in love with an AI companion or has been in a really difficult situation, I'm just like, we should have started this sooner. Like
Mhm.
we missed a group. Um, and I think, our family member was part of that, but hindsight's 2020.
Mhm.
And honestly, my heart just breaks for a lot of families who've had really terrible outcomes with the status quo. And it's not like we didn't see big tech acting poorly for a long time. Like we probably could have seen around this corner. Like we knew they were only adding parental controls on the heels of litigation. They weren't
Mhm.
building by design safe, healthy products for kids. Like we've known that for a long time,
Mhm.
but it had to reach like this devastating level
Right.
before. I don't know. I'm not like blaming ourselves. I don't know that we could have got funding for this business before.
Yeah.
Now it's
Mhm.
reached such a fever pitch, everybody sees it and goes, of course, but
Yes.
it does break my heart that we kind of missed a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am thankful that you had the courage to do it now.
Well, thanks.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
would you answer some questions off of my board game Now You're
I'd
Talking,
love
which will
to.
be
Absolutely.
Bring it on.
arriving this spring? So let me just see. Now, my board game, it asks quite a few questions about high school because those are those impressionable, formative years that can leave a real impact. So, um, what high school experience gave your parents gray hair?
Man, you got to go
Yeah.
first there.
Well, if it wasn't obvious before, it will be after this answer. I am the youngest and therefore got away with the most. And I always joked I was a little bit wild, but also I just was honest. I think that with the third, you kind of have this weird confidence that your parents will love you no matter what. So I would just be super honest. I'm like, we did some, underage drinking and things that I regret now. And I think I definitely was breaking curfew and things that, when I got married, my dad's speech was, "We've made it." She's successful in life. So now we can say that we were really terrified in those high school years where, it could have turned the other direction.
Well, and our older sister, Sarah, and I are like, she's an idiot. Like, we were able to do this and not get caught. Anne comes home and throws up on my mom's feet. It's like, well, yeah, of course you got caught.
It's so funny. What about you, Kate, middle child?
Exactly. Disgruntled middle. My mom will tell you I've been an entrepreneur since I was born. I never liked authority.
That makes sense.
So she would get so annoyed with me because I'd be like, why are we doing it like this? This is not the best way to do this. And she'd be like, just the exhaustion. This is just please listen to that teacher, I guess when I was in kindergarten, I came home and told him I thought I was smarter than my teacher. And
that personality has lived on through high school for
just
sure.
Obnoxious for sure. But I don't think I was that easy for them either in some regards because I was doing things my own way.
Well, as a true entrepreneur does.
That's right.
So that's what I told her. It's part of the package. But even this, like my mom, she gets so stressed for us. We love her so much. She loves us too much. That's our problem. But she gets so nervous for us. We're like, we're fine. But she's up late thinking about, so I've given her a lot of stress because I'm not playing by a, safe playbook here.
That's right.
Well, not by the same rules she played by.
No,
I'm sure. But
no.
Yeah. What are you trying to prove? This is a bit of a tough one. What are you trying to prove to yourself, to others? And is it the same or different?
I think mine is the same in that I kind of alluded to this with, I had a lot of self-doubt at the beginning of this process, right? But I'm trying to not care what others think a little bit. So I want to believe in myself and prove that we can do this and we can go up against big tech as two moms. We have good resumes, but also when you go up against big tech, it's a little scary. And so I'm trying to prove to myself that we can do this, and I know we can, but at the same time, prove to others, it's almost like the Pretty Woman moment where everybody wants to have it. Big mistake. You didn't invest in us. We're going to do it anyways, So I think that's mine, is that I want to prove it to myself because I have had self-doubt in the past, and having a partner like Kate gets you through that. And I feel like we're in a really great place, but I also just want to prove it to others that we are unstoppable team, and we are going to do this no matter what. So.
Well, that just brings me joy.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, someone told me you're not an entrepreneur unless there's like more than 100 people you hate. Like they did you dirty. They didn't invest. They rejected you when you needed it. So I got Anne a book when we started this. People who doubted us and how that's going for them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Our burn book. Our burn book.
Yeah.
No, we joke about it. I think part of it is just having fun while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I kind of joke I have skin as thick as a rhino at this point, but it's like, you just don't start companies and not get good at taking body shots and rejection like everywhere. And the amount of people that think we're insane for going up against Apple and Google are many. And I get that. It's not like I don't understand the fear. It's like they have messaging apps that come free and default on the devices. Will enough parents do something different and care about this enough? And I think we believe they will. We believe it's the moment for a parent to care enough to go, this does sound better. I do want this. I'm sick of grabbing an iPad and scrolling back. I am going to go to the App Store and try this new thing. Yes. I will lean in and figure this out. And I will tell my mom friends about it too, because this can help a lot of people. Like, people think we're crazy for believing that, but it's what Anne and I want for our own families. Yes. So I don't think it's that crazy.
Yes. And just always remember all those people that you talk to globally. And they were probably begging someone to have the courage to do this.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Parents unite. Parents unite.
Parents unite.
Parents unite for sure.
I'll be more specific. Moms unite.
Moms unite. Yeah.
This is Not that there aren't some amazing dads involved, but this one's 90% done by mom. So we see you out
Yep.
there, moms, like lean in here, lean in.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So I'm just going to ask you one more question. What is a saying that was core to your family values growing up?
I'm going to steal this one first because if I know you were thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But our dad used to say this all the time. But it was cream rises to the top. And, it's a little Midwest phrase, I guess, but the reality of the situation is it stuck with us, and it's something that we reference all the time in a dark moment or in a moment where we feel like we're kind of at the bottom. It's like cream will rise to the top. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting out, the good tools and the resources, and you will rise to the top. If you have good intentions, cream will rise. So I say that way too often, and I think my kids will probably reiterate that years from now, that it's our family core too.
Fantastic. And that resonates with you too, Kate?
Well, definitely it resonates in terms of how we are. I also love how just like it's a very optimistic system of belief,
Yeah.
And I think in a world right now, it's easy to sort of lose that optimism. This is just how it is. This is just how it's going to be. We're going to have to live in a world where we get our news from a really polarized place and no one can have nuance or debate topics anymore. And everybody's angry. And I kind of just go back to, I think Ann and I, we're lucky to have a wonderful family. We grew up in Southern Indiana with like a very wholesome upbringing. But I think the thing for me is like it instilled such a deep level of optimism. I'm like, I don't believe that that's the world that we have to settle for. I don't believe that. And I know we're starting with kid messaging, but like, I think the foundation of what's possible here could really change the trajectory of that. And, if you think of how social media has impacted our society, I think we're looking at that very carefully and thinking like, what would good look like? So
Yes.
I think it's just a deeply optimistic perspective. And I know tech is changing so rapidly right now with AI.
Yes.
Of course, sometimes it's going to get worse before it gets better, but I'm deeply optimistic about how AI can help. And we're using AI to moderate these messages in a way that had never been done before. And we're using it to save moms time to get these insights and these recaps and these very good alerts. And it's like, I don't know. I think I want to stand for AI for good. I want to stand for a tech company people can actually trust. Like, I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. And words of wisdom. What are some words of wisdom that you can share that will help other parents or entrepreneurs?
Don't forget you're not alone. It's not necessarily wisdom as much as it's just a reminder. We are all in this together. And you are not alone. We're dealing with all of these different parenting issues, not just tech. We're dealing with all of this. And one of my favorite lines to people when a mom friend will tell a funny story about something horrible that happened, like their kids did something crazy and embarrassed them. It's like, we're all in this together and we live the same life. Even though we have different stories, we're living the same experience in different ways. And you just have to be reminded that you're not alone. And I think that there's some really, I don't know, inspiring things with that. It gives me comfort, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
And I want to encourage parents to create a slow, safe on-ramp to tech. It matters. And sometimes that's as simple as setting some boundaries in your house. Sometimes that's delaying the device. Sometimes that's looking for safer alternatives.
Yeah.
But it is possible, and it's that one's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
And, I think maybe sort of like to your game and other things, like it's so related to independence in the real world and building these real connections with true friends. And like, I don't know if I said this, but with Sage Haven, we limit it. You can only message with parent approved connections. So like we can make sure that it's, real friendship, real connection, real joy, and you can slow it down. You don't have to open up those group chats. You can slow it down. They can talk to a few friends.
Yes.
And I think just going as slow and safe as you can for your family with your situation would help a ton.
Well, that's wonderful. And thank you very much for being here and for sharing your story. And it's one that parents need to hear. And I know you are going to take on the big guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll take all that confidence.
I'm just going to stop this.